Hello everyone, this is DavidViadel23 and welcome to the Mandrago's Cave. Today we are gonna be talking about One Piece live action, and this is gonna be the part 2 of this video. I have the part 1, and as you can see we have drawn the main guys already. I'm gonna put it here so you can start watching my, let's say, chat experience through. This is, I think, my 4th or my 5th rewatch of the series, and I just wanted to make 1 or 2 videos or 3 videos, talk a little bit about it, and express my opinion. I just finished the whole season again. I've done this one when I was halfway through, and now I think it's time to kind of wrap all the concepts and talk a little bit about the last part of the live action One Piece, okay, season 1. Let's draw. We have Luffy here, we have Nami, we have Zorro, we should do Usopp, we should do Sanji as well. Let's find a corner. Maybe we do one here and the other one here. Yeah, probably it's gonna be one is gonna go here, probably. I think we should do maybe Sanji next to Nami, because you know Sanji is a character that he needs to be close to the girls. So let's maybe draw him here, more or less. I'm drawing, as you can see, kind of some caricaturesque idea of the actors here. Okay, we have Iñaki, and then Emily, and that's Makenyu, and then we're gonna do Taz, that is Sanji, and then Jacob here, that it's Usopp. Okay. Let's do. I am mixing a little bit the concepts. Like Iñaki has the scar, but it is very pale. In these videos, in these 2 videos, I'm talking about not the whole experience, but I'm talking about how I felt, things that I found that maybe I liked more, things that I found that it may have changed maybe. This is one of those things. For example, the scars, specifically in Luffy and in Garp, that they are, you know, they are having very important scars on the faces. We see that they have it very pale, like it will be a real scar, and I don't think it's working for the live action because my mind is forgetting about this detail. I think maybe that's one of those points that they should have done maybe a tiny bit comic, a tiny bit fake, like they could have done a line with pen, like a tattoo, and make the specific line, so we kind of see that detail more obvious. Okay. I've been talking about One Piece live action in the previous video up until more or less Usopp's saga, halfway Usopp saga. I finished now the whole thing, and I enjoyed it a lot again. It is one of those sagas that it is not loyal to the, let's say, original manga or the anime, but I think it works. There are some aspects, like I mentioned in the previous videos as well, about Kuro, Captain Kuro, that for me, I think the effects are very nicely done, how he moves with the silent steps and everything. I would have liked maybe the claws to be longer, because in the manga and in the animation they are quite large, and it may have been something more maybe menacing. I know this kind of size, it's to achieve something more realistic, like actually the actor could hold it and everything. Obviously these are not real blades, but if we think in the concept that this is a real scenario, the character, a blade is heavy, okay, and if you are holding it with your finger, it's even more heavier. So I think that's because maybe they've done it shorter and they've done it a little bit more small, I would say. I like how he acts. I like how he defined the character and everything. The interpretation is very nice. I am as well quite positive about Bucci. I like how he's been designed and how he's fighting and everything. Shiam, they completely changed the character, the style, the genre, the everything about the character, and I am not much kind of sold in the idea of Xiam in the story. There are a couple of things that the character does in uh, in the original that is stealing Zorro's swords, and this happens as well. It's very subtle image, and it's interesting, but I don't think they achieved what it made me feel in the original story with Xiam. Xiam was a menace, like Bucci. They were two menaces, and I understand that the directors wanted to, or the screenwriters, they wanted to focus a little bit more in Kuro, how Kuro was going to be moving around, introducing a little bit more a story with Kaya, because Kaya is in the background during the whole saga in Usopp manga. But here Kaya has more importance. He's walking around with Nami, walking around with Usopp, hiding, trying to escape from Kuro until Zorro arrives, until Luffy arrives, and I like it, but there are things and things. Let's do... This seems like this, okay. I missed Django. Django, when Luffy, before that, there is one point that they are looking at a wall full of wanted posters. Django is in a corner, we see the arm, and it is very nice. I would have loved to see how he does the hypnotizing concept, the fighting against Usopp and everything. It would have been very interesting. Now that I'm talking a little bit about Django, there is this tension with Zorro during the whole Usopp saga. At the beginning, when they are having this big dinner and everything, and Zorro is kind of asking the rest of the guys, actually, don't you find him familiar? That maybe, do you know him from somewhere? And they are like, oh, no idea, no idea. And when they are in the dinner and Kaya arrives, Kuro arrives, Zorro is walking around, he goes close to Kurahadol. At that point, we don't know that he's Captain Kuro, obviously. And he mentions, do I know you from somewhere? Your face seems familiar. His face seems familiar because Zorro, as we know, it's a bounty hunter. He hunts pirates, and probably at some point he has seen the poster of Kuro. Kuro has been out of commission for many years, and we see this importance in the story that is kind of a little bit misunderstood as well in the manga, because Morgan, in the previous mini saga in here, or in the original, Morgan gets famous because, not because he's strong, not because he's any kind of a special guy, just because he is the target of Kuro. Kuro ends up destroying his whole crew, and having this kind of revelation of saying, okay, I'm gonna do this plan of killing my real character, I'm gonna kill Captain Kuro to be able to hide, do this last hit with Kaya's family, and basically retire from the pirating life. And basically, together with Django, they destroy the whole crew that is sailing with Morgan. At that point, Morgan is like a normal cadet there at that point. They break his jaw. He breaks his jaw, he cuts his arm, and they hypnotize him to believe that he's capturing Captain Kuro, but he is actually capturing another random guy that is there. They don't specify if it is a pirate or a marine, but probably is a random pirate that it was in their crew, that they are kind of giving away with that. It is a cruel thing to do, but we need to understand that we are in a world of pirates, and Kuro is bad. Kuro, together with Ben Beckman, it is confirmed to be two of the most intelligent guys in the whole One Piece world, and this is something to take in consideration. Obviously, here in my channel I talk about One Piece in half of my videos. I'm gonna put here my video about Captain Kuro. Captain Kuro, or Kuro of the Thousand Planets, is a guy that I think I would like to see coming back, especially for the way that he fights and the movement that he has, very similar to the Soru in the Rokushiki techniques from the CP9. And Oda says that kind of Kuro has that technique at that level, but out of control. So he's not able to control when he's doing the silent steps who is he's gonna cut. So kind of Kuro was touching the superhuman level that the CP9 guys have later in Water 7 at a very early stage of the manga, and I love it. I love it. So we have Sanji more or less here situated, and I fancy going for Usopp as well. Are we? Let's move a little bit here. I was just thinking if we are on a screen here. Again, cartoony Usopp is gonna be. I don't know what to do with the nose with Usopp, but anyway, let's see how it's gonna end up panning the story here with this. So basically, I would have liked Kuro in the current story to show up again. I hope that there is still time for him to see him, even if it is just in one panel, like we have seen Krieki in Hachinosu and Jin in Hachinosu. There is as well a tiny detail that is very interesting when Zorro is talking to Kurahadol in this scene that I'm mentioning, where he's saying, "Oh, I think I know you from somewhere, and it's impossible, like how I'm gonna know you." And Zorro straight away drops a very interesting name. He says Mirror Ball Island, and if you are a manga reader, you see that when Usopp Saga is finished, Django goes in a mini story. We follow Django a little bit for a mini story. He ends up together with Full Body. Full Body is a guy that we meet in Baratie when Sanji is introduced as well. And those guys became best friends, dance buddies in Mirror Island, Mirror Ball Island. And there is a competition of dancing there. And from there, they end up with Hina. Hina is another captain from the Marines at the level of a smoker, and they both, all of them are in love with her, and they basically decide to join the Marines as cadets because she's too beautiful, okay? There is no other mystery there, it is just because of that, but we see them later on again in the story when Hina is showing up with a smoker and everything. So there is context. That is something I mentioned in the previous video that I was doing about the live action. There is context. There is context in the sense of the live action creators, the directors, the showrunners, the writers know about One Piece. They are using content from SBSs, they are using content from the color walks, from the color spreads as well. They are using content from other small stories that Oda has around and other small color designs that Oda has around. And that is very interesting because I believe it's kind of expanding the world of One Piece and at the same time comprising the world of One Piece so you understand that there is more beyond the simple character. Like the story with Mr. 7 that I mentioned in the previous video, Mr. 7 and Zorro. It is something that happens in the manga, but it is only mentioned, never seen. And here we have the chance to see that. Find it very interesting, I want to know your opinion as well about all of this. What do you think about the live action? What do you think about these kind of mentions that, for example, Zorro is dropping in this saga? And yeah, let's do Usopp's nose. It's actually here, like if I do a caricature of him, it's actually like the rest of the guys. So I think I will go for making maybe the mouth bigger like Luffy's that I've done here, like something like this. Something like this, and avoid to do the nose. I'm curious about what's gonna follow with the nose, what's gonna follow with the eyebrow, because there is a story with that, and we don't see that in the live action, so I'm very curious to see how it's gonna be. At the moment it looks a little bit like NL, but it's because Jacob, in this kind of design that they made for him, like this Usopp design, he looks a little bit like NL as well, I think. Now when we paint him and everything will take more shape. So in general I liked the outcome of the Syrup Village saga. I liked the outcome of Kaya because she was saved, ends up giving the Merry to them. I like it is very funny as well to see the kiss that Kaya gives to Usopp, and the guys are looking like, oh, is this gonna be, are they boyfriend and girlfriend or no, and all this. There's a little bit of the cheekiness there and everything. It is very nice, and it is something that you don't have in the manga because it's a shonen. I explained this already in the previous video, but it makes it interesting, and it is one of those things that we know already, that even if it is never mentioned, that Kaya is some sort of like girlfriend for Usopp and is gonna be waiting for him and everything, and maybe if he manages to survive at the end of the story, he comes back to live with Kaya and to tell her the stories and everything. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen with all of them when they finish, because it is a very lovely story, a very interesting story, and I enjoy it so much that I don't want them to. Obviously, I don't want them to die, or I don't want them to get lost in like Brook or something like that. That poor Brook, the story that he had. But we will need to see. We will need to wait a lot to see what's gonna happen with them. I think I have more or less. I may need to do an open eye as well for Jacob here, because he looks very funny always and very smiley. So it makes sense if we do something like this. Yes, I like it like this. In the previous one I've done pencil and then Unipin fine liner. I did on 1, 2, 3, and then here I've done it a little bit different. I started by drawing the both sketches, and now we will go into the line work. Okay, as I said many times, this is traditional, this is gonna be very loose, very easy. I have videos if you like this type of faces, if you would like to learn how to introduce yourself a little bit into drawing, and you have zero skills, or you think you have zero skills, you never had skills, is one of those things that you always thought, I will never be able to draw. I have here a very nice and easy playlist that you can follow, and with basic steps, just doing one circle and one triangle and one cross, you are able to do something like this. Okay, I'm always trying to simplify things in a way that you that are here with me, if you want to take a paper, slow the video to maybe half of the speed of the video and draw with me, you are more than welcome to do it, and it can be something very very enjoyable. We made the eye for Nami white, blue. We want to do Usopp's dark black here. Okay, maybe just tiny bit like this. And now, okay. We go into Sanji saga and everything. It is a saga that I enjoyed as well. I think, in my opinion, I can feel that Sanji, even if he has a lot of time in the screen, like the Baratie has a lot of screen time, I think we don't have much focus in Sanji. I think the whole Baratie is focused in Bogies being around afterwards with Arlong. Arlong is around, we have this clash, we have this kind of situation with Nami that I like it. It happens as well in the real story. We have Zorro versus Mihawk. I absolutely loved it. The actor who plays Mihawk is playing it very interestingly, very nice, and the effects on how Zorro clashes with him, and just with a swing of the hand he's able to throw him like a cannonball, and against the wall, on the floor. I like it. I think it's nicely done. I liked as well his introduction when Garp is kind of commissioning him to go after Luffy and company, and he's fighting Krieg. We don't have Krieg in the Baratie saga as such, like in the original, but we see Krieg, Pearl, etc. The ship that they are being basically obliterated by Mihawk, while Mihawk is just being very easy, taking it very easy, and just because they wake him up from his nap. It is very nice because it is not loyal to the story, it is interpretation, and it gives another spin. I explained it in the previous video. When watching something new from an original story like this, I wanna fall in love with these actors, I wanna fall in love with this interpretation, I wanna fall in love with the new way of storytelling that we are having here, and I think it's something that is being achieved. Obviously, because I am a very, very strong fan of One Piece, very, very deep fan of One Piece, I have my my issues here and there and everything, and sometimes I find a little bit difficult to, oh my god, I didn't like this, or I would have liked this part to be done in another way. But the thing is, the important thing is, I enjoyed it. At the end of the day, I enjoyed it. So let's do the hair like this, wild hair. Okay. After Usopp's saga, Usopp is joining. That is very nice. I liked the way that they handled that as well, and how, like they say, they assume that Usopp is already part of the crew, and then he decides to be the captain and everything, and he's always very cocky, but in a silly way and everything. We do have the story with Sanji, as I said, very focused in other characters, not in Sanji specifically. And there are a couple of moments with Sanji that Sanji is kind of going to the ship to help them heal Zorro. He is feeding Jean. When Jean shows up, there is no fight with Jean, but Jean gives us a little bit of lore, a little bit of drop for the Grand Line, the fear of the Grand Line, and how Luffy is kind of looking at him like, yeah, this is gonna be very interesting. I like how Taz is portraying Sanji as well. I think there is a lot of videos, photos, content, extra content online connecting to One Piece, and especially with Taz that he's kind of creating and showing his training and everything. Sometimes I think that his character is more, or his real person, like his being as a character, as a human being, it matches more with Zorro, with the training concept. Like, I don't think we needed to see this scene of Sanji without the top saving Luffy and everything, because I don't see Sanji as a physically strong character. I see that for Zorro. Maybe I was expecting a little bit more of a thinner Taz for this kind of role. I understand that because the conditions of the Sanji concept, being a fighter and fighting with the feet and everything and kicking and everything, Taz needs to train a lot, and that's leading into a very strong body, and it's kind of conflicting with me. I've seen already some images of season 2. I'm trying to avoid it, but I've seen some images of season 2, and I think they bulked up Mackenyu a lot, and now we are gonna see a very, very physically strong Mackenyu that is gonna be matching, because we don't see Zorro half naked like we see in Taz, for example, and only when he's caught. And I would have liked that more a little bit in the first season, that not to see the change in the second one, because how just when we are trying to arrive to Loguetown, how did you evolve so much? I guess it's gonna be nicely kind of put into the story, but it may be a little bit forced. That's one of those fears that I have around the second season. Curious to see how it's gonna be, but yeah, interesting. Okay, let's do the hair like this again. This is a little bit caricature, a little bit mixing the Sanji from the comic, from the manga, and the Sanji from the live action, from the story. Doing the eyes like this. The eyebrow I'm gonna leave it like this because I don't know what they are gonna do. It's like the nose and the mouth like this. Okay, and we do now the neck and the nice outfit. I love Sanji's outfits all the time, and they kind of nail it, in my opinion. They nail it here in the live action with the outfits that they are putting for Sanji. Very nice. Very nice. It must be very uncomfortable to fight, to move, to do the stunts in Sanji's outfit, but it's giving a very nice, interesting vibes to the character and loyal to the story. I love it. I love it. The whole story after the Baratie and Baratie, we see how Arlong is introduced. We see as well at the end of Boggy's mini saga, mini episode where Kurobi is going to talk to him and everything. So Arlong is gonna be introduced in this live action in a different way, and it's okay. Arlong is kind of in control of the East Blue. It doesn't work in theory because there is a lot of people in the East Blue and a lot of areas, but in this representation Arlong is kind of in control. If you are doing some plundering around, if you are stealing, if you are doing some business around, pirate business, you need to pay tribute to him. So this is kind of the way that he has to have Buggy under him now, some sort of under him, and he basically takes him, kidnaps him, and they are basically trying to find Luffy. And there is this first face-off with Arlong and Luffy. Luffy is completely defeated. He has no idea about Gyojins, how to fight them, how to actually look into this type of fight using water when that is the weakness of a devil fruit user, and he's basically defeated. At the same time, Sanji can't intervene, Nami is just looking, Zorro is defeated and is caught by Mihawk, so he can't do anything. Usopp is looking as well, but they can't do much. So there is a lot of happening in the saga, and as you can see, a lot of it is not focused in Sanji. Normally, when we do a saga, Sanji saga, Usopp saga, Zorro saga, is always focused in the character, but they are doing a different approach here to give all of them a little bit of a story. Then we go into Arlong Park, we have all the story with Nami, we need to help Nami. Nami doesn't want, this is exactly like we see it in the original story. Nami doesn't want any kind of help, but we are not gonna give up, so we go talk with Nojiko. We understand why all of these things are happening, and basically there, Luffy decides that he's gonna help her, and that's it. I believe the only scene that it made me kind of sensitive, like emotional, like feel it. It made me feel it, was when Nami asked Luffy for help. I think Nami, as I said in the previous video, Nami's actress, Emily, is a very, very, very hardcore fan of One Piece. She's been following One Piece forever, like a lot of us, and I think she lived that moment, she lived that screen time. She knew that was gonna be paramount for the development of her story and for the success of the live action. I think she delivered very nice that moment. I didn't like when she's stabbing her arm to kind of, stabbing the tattoo with Arlong's mark because she hates Arlong to the gods. I don't think that's made realistic. I think the effects team, they messed up a little bit there. They missed the opportunity to do this nicer, and it's a pity. It could have been corrected as well in post-production. Post-production is the process, the last process of creation of a movie, of a video game, of a story like this, in where you mix the effects, you mix the music, if there's some kind of voiceovers, you know, the special effects basically as well are happening here. If they would have actually made those wounds realistic, like the cut that Zorro receives from Mihawk, and we see the cut, if they have done those couple of cuts on the arm while she's stabbing, it would have been more believable in my opinion. In my opinion, the scene looks good. The scene makes you feel, and how Iñaki, Luffy, in this case, is handling the giving of the hat and everything with the final tap and everything. I liked it because it's not how it's supposed to be in the main story, but it's giving it a spin. It's giving it a spin, and it is very interesting. It is very, very, very interesting. Let me see. The whole Arlong story, we know it is basically under the umbrella of the concept of racism. Arlong is a very racist character that wants to basically control the world and eliminate all humans. He feels superior, and there is a little bit of controversy with all of this in the One Piece story, because later when we go more in the story, we see that we have Jinbei, that is the Shichibukai for we have the Ryu Kingdom as well being part of the world government. There is slavery, there is discrimination, there is racism and discrepancies with this, but I think it is nicely portrayed in Arlong. Arlong, I mentioned it a little bit yesterday, I mean the previous video. I mentioned it a little bit because it is... I can see in my mind how Arlong in the manga or in the anime would be in real life. I can see him in front of me if I try to picture him there. And I think they made him too small. I think they made him too realistic. I would have liked more comic design for Arlong, yes, because it is a lot to take in, and I would have liked another experience through Arlong, but that is my opinion. Okay, I can understand that maybe you, as well as a fan, you are very happy with Arlong's design. It is quite accurate and quite resemblance to a swordfish, how some of the structures should be and everything, but I think they went a little bit too much into the bizarre of the concept and they made him too small. Definitely, there is a couple of guys talking to Arlong, a couple of his Nakama talking to Arlong in different moments that they are bigger than him. And one of those things that you have in the story is that Arlong is quite large, okay? If not the largest, one of the largest there. Apart from Hachi. Hachi is not included in this story. I think Hachi is, he's an octopus, so it is very difficult to make an actor, a stunt character, wear that kind of costume and be realistic while having multiple arms, not only the chew that you can make up and make it real. I think that was the kind of reason for not including Hachi. I think as well because Zorro had already protagonism and Hachi is for Zorros to fight, they decided to go all of this. They said, we're gonna make Zorro fight all of the guys around, we're gonna give Chew to Usopp, like happens in the story, brilliant, super nicely done there, and Sanji fights Kurobi, and we're gonna give Sanji to Kurobi as well, and he can defeat him. And we have a little bit of Sanji that we didn't have much fight in the previous one. Because in the previous one, in the original, Sanji is fighting Jean, he is fighting Pearl as well, he fights multiple times, okay, and he fights a lot of the characters there. So here we have this first time basically seeing Sanji fight, because before that we have a little bit that he's kind of kicking full body and kicking the pirate of the moon, that is another guy that shows in a previous story that is introduced here in the Baratier. Okay, so let's do, I think with this we have Sanji. I made him a little bit more pale than the rest, because I think he seems to be a little bit more pale in skin here as well in the story. And now we are gonna be drawing, painting Jacob here. We'll do the line work afterwards. Second pass, quick second pass, okay? Usopp's tones are gonna be browns. We have here various browns because I wanna do the hair a little bit darker like this, okay? As I said before, easy, just making this easy. We have the hair, this is gonna be as well a little bit darker brown, okay, like this. And then we have this kind of orangey. I think this will work for me. In my opinion, I think this can work for the bandana that he has on the head. In general, I liked the story. I liked Luffy's fight as well. Iñaki is giving Luffy, especially during the Arlong fight, his special touch, and that is interesting. We need as a One Piece fans to disconnect a little bit from the manga and the anime and give this their own originality and their own, let's say, importance. I don't think we are missing a little bit of hair here to do the details like this. I don't think is something that we will say is gonna be exactly the same at any time. They will do their own take, and it is interesting. I like it. I'm curious to see how all of this is gonna develop. Let's do the skin here, the hair is here on the side a little bit. These caricatures. The section comments down there at the bottom is open for you to talk about your live action One Piece experience, how you felt. If you wanna request as well a specific character from the live action, you can. If you want me to draw maybe Kobe here, or Garp, or Mihawk here, or Buggy as well, we can. Maybe I do more, maybe I don't. I'm not sure about it. Let's see. Let's see if I have still things to say in storage. Okay, but for the time being, I think with the main crew, with the main guys, I think it's more than enough. We have a lot of new characters that are going to be introduced, as I mentioned in the previous video, in the second season, like Smoker. We see a final cliffhanger of a Smoker at the end, but the whole advertising around season 2 is being more focused into Nico Robin, Crocodile, and the Baroque Works concept. The story finishes after Arlong Saga. Arlong Saga is the pre-island before going into Loguetown, and I don't think we are gonna be meeting Gaimon and all of these kind of mini sagas that happen in between. I think they are taking main story plot and guiding us through the key points, like the joining of the main characters and the getting of the ship, the importance of Buggy, Albedo, and Arlong there mainly. So I think we will go to Loguetown. 100% we need to go to Loguetown. In my opinion, I think we started the new story in Loguetown. They have created a very, very big naval base for Morgan, when originally was quite small. So I'm a little bit curious to see if they are gonna use the same town, and we may need to see a Smoker coming out from that town instead of Loguetown. And I wanna see as well, in Loguetown many important things happen. We see Buggy and Albedo showing up, capturing Luffy, trying to execute him, Luffy being saved, Dragon being around. a lot of things going on. Okay, there are some things only anime as well, only from movies as well, where Luffy visits a pub, a bar where Gold Roger used to go, and the guy who is working there recognizes Luffy as, oh, this guy as well looks like Roger. This guy as well looks like the pirate. He's gonna be the Pirate King. I believe in him. That is very interesting. There are stories about Zorro getting his next swords after Wado Ichimonji as well. That's gonna be Sandai Kitetsu, the Cursed, and Yuki Bashiri in Ipsumatsu shop. We need to see that. I would love to see that, how we have this kind of preparation for the Grand Line. We need to see. I would like to see the Sanji competition with the Salt and everything, but I don't think that's gonna happen. There are a lot of things. How Usopp gets his goggles fighting this kind of doing this kind of duel against Papi Mastersons, Daddy Mastersons, and Daddy Mastersons was in the anime is a filler about how Yasop, the father of Usopp, had as well a rival, a very good rival, and there was no way of defeating Yasop. Yasop was the best, and we see this in the story, and I think we need to see it a little bit more going forward. We want to know more of these guys. In between bad guy and bad guy, we want to know more of these guys. Okay, so I think the swords, the elephant tuna, the goggles, for example, the execution, and the buggy and the Alvida alliance needs to happen. That is a cliffhanger as well, and the season 1 is cliffhanger for Smoker, cliffhanger for the alliance of Buggy and Alvida, and but you are not seeing that at the moment. Okay, so I'm curious. By season 2, Alvida's actress has become very thin. That means that in between here we are not gonna see it, but she is gonna eat the fruit that is gonna give her as well Akuma no Mi powers. That's gonna be very interesting as well. Let's see how they are gonna portray this. Okay, let's do like this. Very nice. I'm very happy with the result. I want to just add some lines, some extra lines like this, just to make sure we have a little bit of body in the line, like this, okay, like this. I am happy, I am content with the story. I said it already at the beginning of the video, this is my 4th or my 5th watched already of the series. I like it, and I guess I will keep watching it to find more details, to find more tiny things. In the execution of Gold Roger, we see a lot of characters. We see a young Shanks, we see very obviously as well a young Mihawk. We see multiple characters there, okay? And when we are in this scene, one of these kind of mysteries in One Piece is that Crocodile is not facing the camera in the manga or on the anime, but here is not even shown. There is a moment between showing Mihawk, showing Shanks and everything, that there is a black woman that is looking at the camera, quite really nicely decorated with jewels and everything, like gold things, and maybe they want to play the role that theory of Crocodile being a woman in the past and blah 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 and everything is gonna be true. I don't know. I like that theory. If it is gonna happen, I like that theory. But the only thing is that they picked I think it's a white actor to play Crocodile, and this woman is I think is looking like a black woman. So I wouldn't say that it could be. If Ivankov could change as well all the aspects of a person, yes. If it will be only female to male, no, it can't work then. And that's what I say in the previous video as well, that I think I mentioned it in the previous video, that Iñaki is Mexican and the actor who is playing Garp is Welsh. So I do not think in the original story Dragon is Garp's son. I think Garp's daughter got together with Dragon and they adopted, because this is something that they do in Japanese culture as well, that they adopted the name of the family and he took the name as Monkey D. Okay, but maybe Dragon was just Dragon from another corner, or even as well with all the lore that are dropping at the moment, he could be as well son of a very important person that is being revealed lately, okay, that I'm not going to mention here, but it can be very interesting. Let's do here Usopp, a little bit of Usopp details, okay. The story is finished, we need to wait. I'm not sure when is coming the next season. I don't think it's happening now. I think maybe it's happening the next summer, in summer 2026, probably, because if not, we will have had a lot of comments and things already around, and we don't have as much as I would expect from One Piece, to be honest. But there are things happening already, okay? We will have clips, we have the reveal of Tony Chopper as well. I've seen it and I don't know what to think yet. I want to see how they blend him, because he is made in digital, he is CGI, he is a 3D model basically, and it will have some effects around him to blend him in a real environment with the rest of the guys. When at the end of the story, at the end of season 1, we see Shanks' girlfriend in the bar, and she is reading the newspaper, seeing Luffy's first bounty of 30 million berries. The news coup is next to her. The animal just delivered the mail, and it is quite included. It is quite merged into the scene, that you don't see a fake animal there. It is kind of like, yes, a cartoony animal, fantastic animal, but it is not fake, and I like it. So if they are able to keep that constant with Chopper during the saga, it can be very interesting. I think Chopper is gonna be something that, yes, we will see only for a very small amount of time in season 2. They will focus in another way to probably give you Chopper at the end of the story, so you have Chopper maybe in one episode, and then they can work more on the design and how they are gonna introduce him into the live action, let's say, for season 3. I see something happening in the terms of, let's fight Mr. 3, let's talk a little bit about the Giants, let's talk a little bit about Crocodile introduction, Nico Robin introduction, and all of these guys. BB is gonna be there around as well. Let's do all these things, and then we do a story with Wapol and everything, but later we introduce the monster form of Chopper, and then the cute form of Chopper to join. And then probably, I think we will end the story when Chopper is joining. Instead of going into Arabasta, going into Crocodile, Crocodile may come to Little Garden, may come to Whiskey Peak with Nico Robin. That's what I'm suspecting, because I would have caught the story when we are going into the Reverse Mountain after Loguetown, but they decided to cut it just before Loguetown. So they are gonna do different cuts. We have this promise of I'm gonna find the All Blue, I'm gonna ride the map of the world, I'm gonna be a brave warrior of the sea, I'm gonna be the pirate king, and I'm gonna be the best swordsman in the world in that barrel. They have that scene before Loguetown, when they are trying to find the Reverse Mountain. I guess they need to stop in Loguetown to resupply or something like that, but that scene happens after Loguetown, just before going up to the mountain. So I'm curious about that, how it's gonna be. Kind of in a nutshell, I enjoyed it very much. I will keep watching more and more this, and I want to know your opinion. I want you to drop your comments in the show more section. I want to know how you felt. If you are a fan already of One Piece, how do you find it? If you are only anime, how do you find it as well? How do you feel about it? And if you are completely new into One Piece and you discovered One Piece because One Piece live action. Welcome to this world. It is an incredible journey. We are getting there near to the end. Maybe in a couple of years, 4 years, 5 years, we are finished with the story. But Oda is dropping a lot of information now, and it's a good moment for you to start reading the manga. I would recommend, if you watched the live action, I think the next step that I would do is to start reading the manga. By reading the manga, you will have all of it canon, all of it done by Oda, and you will not have fillers. And once you have read the manga, that you can have the feel of the series, then you can watch the anime if you want. I wouldn't jump into the anime straight away because there is a lot of overdone lately with animation, with the animation results in the latest episodes. It is very flashy, it is very in movement and everything. There are a lot of spoilers. I advise as well, get out of YouTube relating One Piece, get out of this YouTube channel if you only watch the live action, get out of Reddit as well. Do not check information, do not ask questions. Just take 1 month, take 2 months, read the whole thing, a couple of episodes per day, a couple of chapters per day, and don't go into places online that they may spoil you the story. It is very beautiful to see the evolution of Luffy, it is very beautiful to see the evolution of the Straw Hats, and yeah, so I may have said, I should have put at the beginning a spoiler ahead, but anyway. Let's sign for today. We are finished with all the characters. This is DavidViadel23, DavidViadel23. You can say it as you want, and this is the Man Dragon's Cave. I hope you enjoyed this little chat, little opinion piece about One Piece, and feel free to share it with your friends, with your nakama, with your family, and with people around you that may like this, that they may be interested in manga or may be interested only in art, because it works for both sides of the story. And feel free as well to sail around the channel and check the other videos I have. I have a lot of content as well that is non-One Piece related, if you want to see something that is non-One Piece related. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!